Good evening, good evening. Welcome, VIBE95, to another great show with South Florida's reggae, hottest reggae and hip hop talk show and radio show. Tonight, we are here with our greatest host right now. He's funny as heck. I can't tell you guys anything else because he's going to tell you and show you how funny this man actually is. Welcome tonight, Mr. Brooks. Come on in.
Hello, how we doing?
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing great. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah,
So thank you.
this is Kenny Brooks, aka Funny Salesman, and I'm here with 90, 95. I was
You're
trying
here
to
with Viber 95.
get Vibe 95 and Don't Sleep Production, and I'm here with Lay Liddy.
Of course, of course. How are you? How are you, Mr. Brooks? How are you?
I'm doing great right
Fantastic. I know
now.
you're on the road.
Yeah, I'm right now on the road in Detroit. I just came from my kids' practice, just picking them up.
All right. So how was that?
Yeah, it was good. They just had basketball training, so.
So let the people know. I know you came on and said Funny Salesman and Kenny Brooks. Let everybody know who that is and what and who you are.
Okay, first and foremost, my name Kenny Brooks, and I'm Funny Salesman, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I went viral like back in 2010 from I was doing my sales job basically. I was selling door to door. I've been doing sales since I was like 12 years old, and I basically had like a paper route, and then years later, like the fast forward, I just fell in love with sales from the age of 12 to 14. And then when I turned 19, I went into the travel and sales industry where I was selling an organic cleaner. And basically, I went viral. And years later, I'm here now just working on my brand and, just building and getting different opportunities. But I just fell in love with sales. And I make a comedy with sales because back when I was growing up, I was always like the class clown, a people's person. And, I remember when I couldn't afford a pair of basketball shoes. I had grew like 6 or 7 inches. When I was like 12, I was like 5'11", and I grew. And I remember coming home from school and I asked my mom, could she give me some basketball shoes? And she said she couldn't afford it at the time. So I seen this note on a telephone pole coming from school, and it was like, I can make $50 doing a paper route. It's like basically delivering Detroit News a free press, and I end up delivering papers to the wrong house, and a customer came out cussing me and my friend out, like, y'all keep sending these subscriptions to my house, and I done canceled it for the last couple of months. Y'all just keep sending them. And I was like, well, if two of the kids were playing and one broke the glass, you want to spank both of them, right? He was like, no. I was like, well, you going to spank us for the bad performance. Let me just call my supervisor. And from there, he started busting out laughing because I said, let me call my supervisor. And, he just fell in love. I upgraded him like Beyonce. This was like the age of 12. I already had
Yeah.
like sweetness and a personality, so like, as a little kid, just stay out of trouble, I like, I looked at like I needed to find me like a hobby, something that I can enjoy doing that's not a crime. I'm a product of my environment coming from bad around you. So it was either playing basketball or get a nice little after school job. And I fell in love with sales at the age of 12. I mean, I was like, because they had like a little, basically like a speech that they wanted you to study, like to tell to the customers. And I knew that back then that wasn't me. Like it was like working towards a college. I don't remember how the speech went. I just knew that I added my own personality and my twist into it. And I was being myself, and I started like making a lot of sales just off of being myself and read the speech. So after that, I started making more money damn near than my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like at the age of 12, I was making like $200 to $300 a week. And then so my goal was just to make $50 and buy some shoes and play basketball. But I fell in love with sales that early in age that I started like making money was like my first priority playing basketball. Then around the age 14 to 15, I grew like 6'2", so then I took basketball serious. So, but from the age of 12 to 14, that's when I learned the people person and the confidence of just going to people doors and not being afraid to have a conversation with them. I started that ability. It just like something that I just like manifest and like learned at a young age. So when I turned 19, I got back into sales, but I was already confident and was a people person because I learned that at a younger age. So when I got into that field, the only thing I had to learn was like self improvement, like working on my mental, myself, like being like because you had to be so strong enough to disturb your peace of mind. So I fell in love with just the sales ability. I was like, let me just be one with sales and learn sales, and I started reading a lot of books. And my first book, I remember, like I was talking to Kenny earlier, and I was explaining. I tell this to a lot of salespeople, like, and people that are trying this in life, period, because like off of that one video, it just actually trained me how to like cope with uncertainties and like become a better person for our society that we live in today, just from going door to door. Because, like I say, like, it molded me, like traveling at a young age from like 19. Like I did it all the way up until I was like 30. I went door to door for like 10 plus years just because they said 2 years of door to door traveling is equivalent to 4 years of college communication, how you interact with different people.
Right.
And I felt like this should be taught at like a university, like a curriculum, because I learned more stuff on just dealing with like today's issues and just knocking on people's doors and being a target and a statistic, then like just like learning so much stuff around the world, just going to different states, learning different nationalities, learning people, just learning like everyday life. It just was like so important to me, just bringing laughter with the job that I was doing. And like one day this lady ended up recording me, and that was like in 2010, and that one video like changed my life. But like I said, like I get a little long-winded. I was trying to make a point. My point was that once I had found my niche and like selling, and I knew that using entertainment to make people laugh and make their day they would buy my product, that's when I really like became like this title people say today, like they got a title as like I'm the best salesman ever, but I don't look at it as that. I just look at like it. I'm like the funniest salesman because like I knew that like majority of my customers that I was selling on a daily basis, they never looked at me as I was a salesman to them. You know what I mean? Everybody that I sold, yeah, buy my product, they'd be like, you should get into stand-up comedy, or you should be performing at a comedy club. They always looked at me like I was just like a comedian rather than a salesman. And I remember buying my first book, How to Win Friends, Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And when I first opened it up, the first thing that caught my eyes, he said, if you want to gather the honey, don't kick over the beehive. So what I took out of that is basically like, whatever you put in this business, that's what you get out. And that's basically just with life. You know what I mean? Like, you want to, like, I remember my mother telling me just growing up as a young kid, like, if you don't do your chores, you want to don't halfway do anything. You know what I mean? You want to be perfect. You know, you want to do the best you can. So that's what I did with sales. I just took it and I ran with it. I eliminated all excuses. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be better than I was
Yeah.
before. So I just took it and ran with it. And then I noticed the more times that I spent with myself, learning myself, and just educating myself just on sales and just studying comedians and studying my craft, that's when I became like a monster in the business. Like I broke records and all type of stuff, and like people don't understand like that video that went super viral back in 2010. I went through adversity that day, that week, that month, you know, that year to become the person I am today. Because like I got kidnapped by Indians that same like while all of that was going on, I had got kidnapped by some Indians, and I'll get to that in a second. But not before that, I was like the top salesman for like 4 years. Because, like I said, I came in like when I was 19. That was around like 2005, 2006, one of those years. And then I went viral in like 2010. But to make a long story short, how I went viral was basically because, like, I, like I said, I studied my craft, and I put a lot into what I was doing. Like I bought like a lot of notebooks. I bought one time I bought like 10 notebooks. I had a notebook full of jokes. I had a notebook full of clothes, and I had a notebook full of human interest stories. I just was buying notebooks and just study, like educate myself, making funny little witty little introductions where I could just knock on someone's door and just brighten their day with like a joke. And it and it became like
Right.
it just became like the thing. You know what I mean? Like they say, if you're in Rome, do as the Romans. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, like a lot of sayings you hear. And basically,
Mhm.
them really, that's real. That them, a lot of those saying people don't be believing it, but experience is the best teacher. So I just made the best with it, and come to find out, that's how I be like now. I'm doing interviews and podcasts, docuseries, TV shows, and commercials, all types of stuff, just off of just like creating a foundation and a brand for myself just by doing the right thing, like Spike Lee. Sticking to the pros so you won't get caught. So it's a blessing. It's been a journey, but yeah, but basically like how that happened with the Indian kidnapping. I was um I was basically in sales for like 4 years before I went viral. But what happened was that I was like the top salesperson in the company, and one day, this particular day, this person had beat me. Look, this. Excuse me. I'm like, can you give me 1 second?
Okay, no problem. All right, so while we're waiting on him to come on back, like again, I'm gonna say that this is Kenny Brooks. If you guys look on him on IG, he is funny salesman. Like I said, he is a funny salesman. Literally, it's in his name. He goes door to door making people laugh before he makes his sale. So if you guys look him up on IG while we're waiting on him to come back, that again is funny salesman on IG. That's Mr. Kenny Brooks. That's who we are live with tonight. So awesome. While we wait for him to come back. Well, I'm doing good, everybody. So I'm just gonna let you guys know how my day's going. So far in the showcasing, just in case anyone is asking and still, convincing, we are gonna start having signups at our location, at our radio station for any artists that are looking into showcasing their art and their talents in front of a new label that is going to sign and share and broadcast artists that they're going to sign. I think I said that backwards. But yes, that's how they're going to do it. And if you guys don't know who it is, on IG, go ahead and look him up. He's on IG as Wish the Great NLNL. NLNL means New Life, New Label. That is a record label that he and his crew has created. This is a multimillionaire label that he is literally picking someone right here in West Palm Beach, Florida to sign and produce. So get out here, you guys. We are going to have sign up soon. So whilst we are waiting for Mr. Kenny Brooks, look into that soon. We're going to have a link somewhere for you guys to go ahead and find out more information about that. Other than that, VIBE95 is doing great. And Lady is doing great. If you guys are looking for somewhere to go on Sunday, we have brunch at Bamboo Room downtown Lake Worth. I'll be there as your host. It's karaoke, brunch, mimosas, hookahs. You can't go wrong. Just have a great time. Like I said, it's downtown Lake Worth. Yeah, Bamboo Room. So come out there. I think it's 905 South Lake Worth or J Street. So come on out there, you guys. Doors open at 9. I'm lying. Doors open at 3. It's 3 to 7. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 3 is at brunch. Brunch is at 3. See you guys at 3. Bring him. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring Brooks right back in here. Mr. Funny Salesman is back, so here we are, bringing him right back in, you guys. How are you?
Sorry.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's all
Thanks,
right.
man.
Welcome back.
Right.
So you were telling us about the Indians and how they kidnapped you.
Oh yeah. So basically, I was the top salesperson in the company for like 4 years straight. I would like as a new person, I was like doubling like new people sales because like I said, I found my niche at an early in the game, like the mixed comedy with like sales, and I was like just making a lot of machine guns. So one particular day, this person beat me in sales and basically so when I was doing sales back then, you got paid 3 different ways. You got paid like strictly commission. You was off a sliding commission scale from 10%. and then you got paid by like bonuses, bets, and also like so I bet at the Salesman. Can you hear me?
Yes. You're going in and out a little
Okay, sorry
bit.
about that. Can you hear
Oh,
me
never
now?
mind. Yeah, kind of.
Okay, basically, yeah. So the this guy, I made a bet in the meeting, and I was basically like, I bet you that I go to the same area that you work, and I double your sales. And I ended up going to an Indian reservation. It was California. Come to find out, I come right after this happened, trying to sell my product in a neighborhood. We're in the Indian reservation, so they like the first door I knocked on. Dude came out with a gun. He was like, "Get off my porch! I'll blow your head off. You know where you at?" And I'm like, "Sorry." I was like, "Sorry." I was like, "Jesus didn't sell everybody." I went to the next door. I was like, "God bless you." I'm leaving because I'm from Detroit. I see guns pulled out all the time, but I
Yeah,
know
you
that
just go
like
ahead and clear.
yeah, I know that like I ain't crazy or a person just pulled out a gun. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to just keep working and basically just um trying to stay positive. But what happened was that when I got to the next door, the guy started following me with a gun. So that's when I just called my manager. I was like, let me just call my supervisor and I'm gonna see if he can come pick me up real quick because this is like crazy. So
It's a
anyway,
different,
come
yeah.
yeah, come to find out, my manager, he was like he dropping the rest of the team off, try to go. He was like, if he keep following me, just try to call the police or go somewhere where people can notice that they can see something going on. So anyway, after I got off the phone with him, I guess the guy noticed that I was on the phone with someone. He thought that I was on the phone maybe with the police, so he turned around, started going back towards his home. So this lady ended up opening up the door and closing the door. I hurry up and ran to her door. So I knocked on her door. She opened the door. She was blind too. Was crazy as that, and it happened to be her nephew. So she come out with like a little stick, like with like. And I'm like, don't shoot, just a chocolate kid out working hard. And then so she was like, how can I help you? So I just
Oh,
started. I just like, I didn't even think about a guy pulled a gun on. I'm like, I'm about to try to sell this lady, get in her house, explain what happened then, so they won't see me. So I just used like, I don't know, I just used like street smarts. I was like, I'm already in the middle of getting a sale. Either something gonna happen real bad, or I'm gonna get a sale, and God gonna be on my side and see what's going on and get me out this
oh,
situation. So that's how I was thinking. You know what I mean? So
yes.
anyway, because this is like my first time being in this situation, but I still was in sales mode. So anyway, I was like, don't shoot, just a chocolate kid working hard. She was like, is you light chocolate or dark chocolate? I'm like, I'm dark chocolate. And I started looking like, what is she talking about? So anyway, she was like, do you dark chocolate like African American? I'm like, yes, ma'am. And then she was like, come in, honey. She was like, what are you out here doing? What are you doing in this neighborhood? I was like, I thought you never asked. I'm out here selling the best things since cake and ice cream, clean any and everything. Said bad credit. She started laughing. She was like, um, so how much is this stuff? And then she's like, so what do you got? Where you got the stuff at? So I start reaching in my bag. She was like, how many bottles you got? I was like, I got 4 bottles. She was like, can you promise me one thing? I was like, what? She was like, can you promise me if I buy your last 4 bottles, can you leave this neighborhood? I'm like, yeah. I was like, sure. Then she was like, I'm surprised one of my nephews didn't just hurt you because she was like, my brother just got murdered by African American yesterday. They in a gang. She started explaining the whole situation. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, this probably was one of your nephews that just pulled a gun out on me. So anyway, she ended up buying like the 4 bottles, and then she was like, okay, call your boss and see if he'll pick up. I can let you stay here till he comes. So I called my manager and explained like the situation. Like, I'm safe right now. The lady just let me come in and she just bought 4 bottles. I was like, but she said I can stay here till you come. So he ended up calling me like he outside. Soon as I come outside, I didn't even see him, but I was just like walking, like I was walking out her door. So as I'm walking out her door, I see him turn a corner. So I come out, he ready to pick me up. As I'm walking out her gate, as soon as I get like to her sidewalk, they just come out of nowhere, like guys on 4 wheelers and like bikes, like they dirt bikes. They just come out of nowhere, surrounded me like in the middle of her house, pull out guns and everything. And I remember the one guy, he was like on a dirt bike, like a 4 wheeler, and he took off his helmet. He was like, you thought I was playing? Didn't I tell you to leave my property? It was the same dude that put on a gun out on me on the first time. And they put it, he was like, you thought I was playing? You still in my neighborhood? He was like, you about to see this brown native pride truck pull up. When my brother pull up, you don't get in, we gonna blow your head off. So like his brother pulled up, like while all of this going on, I'm looking at my manager like turn around in the van. He see all this going on. He busted a U-turn and left me there. So like I'm about to really like get in the truck now because the truck pull up and then dude like he like rolled down the window and opened his door like get in right now. He had his gun out like he about to shoot me, cocked it back and everything. So I'm walking towards the truck now, like in tears, like devastated. So I'm walking towards the truck about to get in, and like this unmarked police car just happened to come out of nowhere and just like rescue me. Like, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, so like soon as the police came, they just start scattering, like they just start going different ways. Cause I guess they know their neighborhood. They start going in like little ditches, going like they just like put the police start calling back up. I'm talking about the police came and got me, and they had me in a truck. But these guys, like, let me tell you how crazy this was. It took them like 4 hours with helicopters and like SWAT team and everything to catch these guys. And what's crazy is that I thought like either my manager called or somebody in the neighborhood called, either the lady called it off from me. So the officer came, he got me in the car. Then I had to do a like police report. I'm crying. I couldn't even really talk because I just knew I was about to get killed or something. And then I was like, excuse me, after I filled out my report and stuff, and I calmed down like an hour later. And then I was like, did someone happen to call you and say what was going on? He was like, no, I've been monitoring this area because we've been getting a lot of kidnapping and shootouts here. He was like, you was at the wrong place. He was like, you was at the right place at the wrong time. He was like, because if this would have been a different time, it could have been over with. Then like they finally found the guys and stuff. So they took me back to the station. I had to do like a lineup and stuff, point them out.
Yeah.
After I explained what happened, I felt like 6ix9ine, like the new 6ix9ine back in the day. Cause I'm like, I gotta like tell on these guys and everything. I knew like, and it was like really for my, like, you know what I mean? It was for my, like, this was like life threatening, you know what I'm saying? It was a hate crime, all type of stuff they had going on. So anyway, I pointed the 2 guys out. It was like 5 guys they had with the standing line. I don't even remember the 2 guys, and the 2 guys I pointed out, it happened to be, they was like the brothers, you know what I'm saying? I remember like yesterday, he was like, yeah, they brothers, they got a long crime sheet like for kidnapping and attempted murder, all types of stuff. It was like, so they would have caught you if I wouldn't have came. They probably would have did something real bad to you. So anyway, it just was like God was on my side at that time. So anyway, I'm this took like 4 or 5 hours. Like this happened around like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon that day, and I didn't leave the like police station till like 7 o'clock at night. So anyway, I waited like 45 minutes to an hour for the sales team to come pick me up. They end up come picking me up in the van. I'm like super heated about to fight the manager now because I'm looking at like y'all got me out here selling y'all, right? Y'all got me out here selling y'all product, and y'all left me out here just for the wolves. Like I'm in y'all custody and everything out here, like selling y'all product, and I call you for help. You see I need help. You see what's going on, and you just leave me out here, you know. So I had end up quitting my sales job and everything. They flew me back to Detroit. So I'm in Detroit now. So like a couple months ago, now this happened like in like November of like 2009. Around like February 2010, that's when they sent me a subpoena to Detroit. They sent me a letter in the mail. I had to fly all the way back to California to testify against these guys. You know what I mean? Because they had like different charges, and plus, like I didn't know at the time because I was even scared to go. I was like, I don't feel like going back to California dealing with this. I just like I don't even really want to testify. But they sent me a subpoena, so I had to go. You know what I mean? Like, right. Mm-hmm. So when I get there, they had like Secret Services guy like pick me up. Like I was like one of the presidents. They had the guys with the suits on. They picked me up in like a black Tahoe or Suburban. They had like guys that looked like, you know, they worked for the president, like picked me up. They had me like, it was basically like private investigator. I was like in the witness protection or some crazy stuff. So they put me in like a hotel where they had like some guys like in suits just monitoring me, like watching like my room. You know what I'm saying? They had a room next door to me until it was time to go to court. So the next day I had to go to court. So they give me up like early in the morning, come knock on my door. I get ready like around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Right after that, they take me to the courthouse. So I had to use the restroom before court. You know what I mean? So they walk me to the restroom, but they still like outside. While I go inside the restroom, this big Indian dude, he's walking out and he see me. He was like, hey, you, and he went like this. He said something like, if you
right on my nephews, and then he went like this. So I just ran out of the bathroom and ran out of the courtroom. I didn't even say nothing. I just ran like for my life, ran down the steps, went through the metal detector, got out of there. I seen like a gas station across the street, so I called my mom. I'm out of breath and everything, breathing hard. Like I knew this was a setup. I'm like, you got to give me a ticket back home. This sound like a venture. Is funny. Every time I told this story, I just told her like on Brad Leah podcast, and then now like I'm
That's
supposed to
right.
like yeah, it's like this like a true story. Like really, it really like
It
it
really
actually
happened like
happened
this.
like this. Yeah, and it's like crazy. Like what's funny is that I ran out of the 70. I ran out of the courtroom, ran across the street to like a 7-Eleven gas station. I asked them, can I use their phone? They let me use the phone. So I called my mom real quick, breathing hard. I'm letting her know, like, I knew this was a setup. These guys just threatened me. I guess they was related to the guys that I'm supposed to testify against. As soon as they threatened me, I ran out of the restroom and ran over to call you. I need a ticket back home. I can't do this. And she was like, well, it ain't nothing I can do. I don't have no money right now. You need to try to find the people that got you out there and explain to them what happened. I'm like, I'm not going back in there. They don't even know I just left. And she's like, well, see if you can call your job. They still in California. See if they can get you a
Yeah.
ticket back home. You was the top salesman in that company for like 4 years. So anyway, I called the company back and I was like, I told them my situation. Like I'm stranded. I flew down here to testify against the guys that kidnapped me or the attempted kidnapping, and the situation happened. They was like, okay, we got you, no problem. So they end up selling me a dream. Like they was coming to pick me up and getting me a flight back to Detroit from LA. They was dropping me off to LAX. So when they come and pick me up, I get in a van. They got the CEO or the owner of the company on the phone. He like, look, we just looked up your flight to get back to Detroit. It's either one or two things. We can either take you to the Greyhound, and it's the bus that leave out. Nah, it's like, because I had to go to court. This like 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like 8. This like when they picked me up, it was like 9 or 10ish. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even go to court. That's how long it took them to pick me up. So it was like 9 or 10 in the morning. They was like either they can drop me off at the Greyhound and I can wait till like 8 o'clock that night and get on the bus and they'll pay for that because it was like $200-300. It was like under $300, or I can go to work and I can the day they said I can go to work for that day and I can use my commission and they can go half on me a flight because they said they couldn't cover the whole like $500 for a flight. So I was like, I'm not about to stay. I'm not about to risk like just staying at a Greyhound. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like I'm schizophrenic now. I'm
Anyone
thinking
can
like they
pull up
following
anywhere.
me. Somebody could. So I'm like, look, I just go to work. Just put me in a safe neighborhood. So they dropped me off in Tarzana, California. It's like 2010. So the first door I knock on, I'm like, I done prayed and everything. Like, so the first door I knock on now, I'm just like out here just trying to get a ticket. Like, I'm just like trying to be positive, just be myself, just have energy, enthusiasm to fake it till I make it to get back home. That was my
Yeah.
whole goal. So the first door I knock on, dude was real nice, cool. I end up cleaning like his rims. I cleaned like a spot off his carpet. He let me come in his house. I see he got like a whole bunch of pictures with like Magic Johnson, Kobe, and a whole bunch of the Lakers players. And I was like, what you
Oh,
do
I
for a
guess
living? He was like, yeah, I'm a Laker doctor. So he was like, I've been the doctor for like the last 30 years. He's like when they like get injured, he like the doctor. And he was like, you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy? I was like, I do. I was like, that's my goal. I was like, I just do this. This is a stepping stone. Because they said if you can go to someone's door that you never met before and make them laugh with your sense of humor, you won't be afraid to perform in front of an audience. So I'm just using this as a stepping stone to help me with my confidence and building, rapport and working on my sense of humor and confidence, everything. And he was like, yeah. He was like, because Jamie Foxx stay across the street. And I'm like, what? So he was like, yeah, he stay right over there. So he showed me his house from across his, like from where he stayed at. So after I sold him like 2 bottles, I left and I went straight to Jamie Foxx's house. But when I got there, he had like a gate. He had like a fence to his house. So I'm like, dang, I can't even get to his house. So I'm going to the next door. So I'm on my way to the next door. I see like a brown Maybach, like two-tone Maybach pulling a gate. So I run back over there because I'm like, this got to be Jamie Foxx, you know what I mean? Because the gate started opening. By the time I got up to the gate, it started closing. But like he had one of those sensors gate, like when your body hit like the gate, it started opening back up. So it started opening back up. So I'm in the back of my mind like, oh shit, he just opened back up the gate. Excuse my French, my China. But anyway, I'm using profanity and everything. I apologize. But anyway, so I'm like,
Like,
oh shoot. I'm like, oh shoot. So I start going up to the gate. So he on the intercom now. He like, hey, what are you doing? No trespassing. And I was like, okay, COD. And then he was like, all right, 1 second. So he pulled in his garage and came back like on a golf cart. And his driveway was like a mile long. His house was like all the way in the back. So as he driving up, I'm like, wow, this really Jamie Foxx driving up to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like super duper like happy, like, because it's like one of my favorite like comedians, like
Of
growing up,
course,
something I
yeah.
used to watch. So I'm like, wow, this really so he's driving up and I'm like, so he noticed like my spray bottle or my bag or something. He's like, wait, you trying to sell me something? He was like, I thought I said no trespassing. And he was like, I thought you said COD. I was like, yeah, come on down. Then he started busting out laughing. He was like, oh, not only is you funny. And then he started talking about my teeth. We started like roasting each other for like the first like 60 seconds. And then right after that, he was like, you know what? I like your personality, your energy. He was like, you remind me of myself when I was younger. He was like, I used to be a shoe salesman. He just started telling me his life story, how he got adopted. He from like this small town in Texas, and how he like really like he was like
Just
sales saved his life, and he was basically telling me he used to like do he was a shoe salesman, and that's how he paid for acting school, and he said that he was so dedicated to like comedy that he did anything he could to get his like name recognized. And he said all the way to like where he used to perform at like open mics, and they was picking females first to listen to them to come on stage, and he had to write his name on the list as Jamie. He said his real name wasn't Jamie. He told me his whole story, and then like he just told me like to just keep going, don't give up. And I just told him, I just started busting out crying. I was like, you know what's crazy? I wouldn't even have to meet you today. I was like, I was like, my whole journey today has just been crazy. Like I went from getting kidnapped by Indians to going to court today. He's like, what you was doing at 7-Eleven? Like he was cracking a joke and stuff. I'm like, no, I got kidnapped by some real Indians, and
it's
I
just
had
7-Eleven.
yeah. So like he was funny, but he just like it was just crazy how I met him. So he was in the middle of like filming that movie, The Jangle. So he was like, look. He was like, I gotta get up out of here. He just gave me like wisdom and like a whole bunch of advice, like you know what I mean, like just with like comedy and life period, just with like selling and like he was like, whatever gonna happen, happen. He was like, but if you really want to be a comedian, you can't let nothing get in the way. He just was giving me a lot of advice and everything, and I just took it and ran with it to this day. But what's crazy is that right after I sold him, the next door I went to, that's when the lady filmed me and I went viral. Like the one video that like took off for me that happened in like 2010. So I'm just thinking like if I would have never even went to his house and I would have went to that lady house first, that video probably wouldn't have never happened. You know what I mean? Like everything happened for a reason because it was crazy. Like I fast forward, like that happened in 2010. Now I'm going door to door for like years later after my video that went viral, people taking pictures of me. They know that I got this little viral sensation going on. They like, and what's crazy is that um I ran into like Jamie Foxx's nephew. He was like a good friend of mine. I was doing because at the time, like when I was still doing sales, I was doing sales back and forth. I was trying to work on my brand, do sales, work on my brand, do sales, and then so what happened was that I just took a break from the sales world and just started like I moved to LA and I started doing a lot of like social media, like going to skip party content parties. And one of my friends, he had like a content party where like a lot of social media influencers was there, and one of the guys, he was like a videographer, and he was like he happened to be Jamie Foxx's nephew, and I was just telling my friend a story on with the kidnapping and how I met Jamie Foxx, and he's like, you know what's crazy? This is his nephew right here. He's like, you should explain this to his nephew. So his nephew ended up FaceTiming him. He like called him like right in front of me, and he got on the phone, and I was like, man, I just want to thank. Now this was like 2016, 2017. This is like 6 years later after I went
Yeah,
viral,
later.
and like yeah. So I was like, I just want to thank you for basically like calling your neighbor, put me on YouTube because that changed my life. And he was like, he was like, oh, I remember exactly who he was. He was like, let me tell you how crazy and racist my neighbors is. He was like, I don't even stay in that neighborhood anymore. He was like, my neighbor, I guess they saw a black kid in the neighborhood in a predominantly white area. They called me and was like, Jamie, I just want to give you a heads up. It's this black kid. He look like he casing the neighborhood. I'm about to call the police. He was like, no, this is a guy. He's an inspiring comedian. He got a good product on him. You should open the door and listen to him. So the lady only opened the door with her camcorder because she thought like I was gonna break in her house. I was casing the area, something like that. Happened to find out I was just
Oh,
a great salesperson, and that's how I got introduced to this. How a lot of people knew me just off of this lady. She had the
yeah.
wrong impression. You know what I mean? That's why I say that to say this is that one thing I learned from sales is that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. You know what I mean? Because it was like a gift and a curse. It was a blessing that she recorded me, but it wasn't. It was also like she just stereotyped the wrong one. You know what I mean? I feel like everything happened for a reason. There was a reason why God made this lady come to the door and record me so the world can see what hard work and dedication and not giving up get you. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
anybody could have got filmed at that door. Anybody could. That could have been anybody. Why God picked me? You know what I mean? Why this had to happen to me? But people don't understand what I went through to get where I'm here today. You know what I mean? So fast forward in that situation, like 2017 come, because this happened like 2016. 2017 come, I get an email from Ridiculousness, and they basically was like they wanted to fly me out to LA, give me like 5 free passes to come on their show. And they basically wanted me to introduce my video that went viral. You know what I mean? Because it was like on Tosh.0, America's Funniest Home Video. Like Ellen reached out to me. It was just crazy. It just blew up like it was crazy. So anyway, while all of this going on, I'm still like in the sales world, but I still was like taking a break. You know what I mean? So I really was like didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I really wanted to be like this famous viral guy and really take like comedy and the viral, like the social media serious, or I really didn't know if I wanted to still be a salesman, you know what I mean? But I had to make a decision for myself, and I had kids at the time, you know what I'm saying? I had like 4 or 5 kids, and so I was like, damn, I got kids, they like eating, I like feeding them. I got to make a decision for my family, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather be successful than just famous, you know what I mean? So anyway, to make a long story short, so they reached out to me. They basically was like, they paid this lady a lot of money basically to use the video, but they said that they couldn't show the video on their show unless they got both parties to sign a consent. You know what I mean? So I'm like, wait, so you basically paid this lady to use her copyright of her recording me, which she really didn't really want to record me. She recorded me for something else. You find out that it's a viral sensation. It's really funny. People like this video been so inspiring and inspirational to a lot of people. I've been getting so many calls throughout the last decade off of how this video like just like helped and shaped people, like inspired them. Like when people want to give up, they just look at this video, this hardworking like black kid that just got personality. You can be doing any job in the world, and this person out here making an honest living, going through all type of adversity, he giving people hope. You know what I'm saying? Because if he got a smile on his face and he doing door to door, just imagine what other people doing that got, you know, that got something that's better. You know what I mean? One thing I learned, if you put your problems on the table, if somebody else put their problems on the table, when you see their problem, you will pick your problems up. You know what I mean? Because someone else trash is someone else treasure. You can look at like, dang, I ain't getting no sales today. But then somebody else put their problems on the same table that you put your, I ain't got no sales today problem. And this person, you look at their problems and they just found out they got cancer. They got 3 more weeks to live. You will pick your problems up like, look, this is
right back like
so
another.
right. So you can't make a permanent decision over temporary problems. So I say to say this is that, like, I'm thinking like, man, I got to do what's right for me and my family. And then so I end up getting like a lawyer, and I like we read like because Ridiculousness sent me a contract, and then a lady ended up sending me a contract, and basically she was basically like at the time the video had like a whole lot of views. I didn't know that she was making even money off the video. You know what I mean? So I told her like, why would you use my image and my video and put it on your channel to make money when you didn't have no favor of even recording me for the world to see that I was this funny viral guy? You thought that I was gonna be on like First 48 or America's Dumbest Criminals or something. That's how you looked at me. You didn't look at me as like, oh, let me, you know what I mean? Even if you would have did that, I wouldn't have mind. But I'm looking at like, or at least like you let me know, like, look, I'm making a profit off you. This we can work something out. You know what I'm saying? She told people I was dead. Like if you look up, still to this day, they got on YouTube, it got like 75,000 views. They got a Rip Kenny Brooks because she was getting emails and everything. They said that I got shot by my brother. Some crazy stuff she said. So anyway, she got mad because I told her I wasn't doing a ridiculousness thing, and I told her like she made a lot of money off of me. But anyway, so she ended up taking the video down. She was like, how about I just take the video down? She was like, I made you, and she was just tripping, you know what I mean? So anyway, so she took the video down. So I learned right then and there, like, I'm gonna copyright my name, copyright my brand. I'm gonna monetize my channel. I'm gonna start my own YouTube. I'm gonna start my Instagram, everything. So I just started, really really working on my brand, putting a lot into my brand, investing in myself and everything. So now I just I started doing like documentaries and podcasts, interviews. I started my own merch, like right here that I have on Funny Salesman, Pickle Rick. And then I started, just building my brand. I started my sales training courses. I do like speaking engagements. Like I was supposed to speak last year with Tony Robbins on stage, but it had got postponed due to the COVID, So I just started really working on myself, my brand and everything, started really getting out there, I did open mic for like a year and a half, like going to Comedy Store and a different comedy club, just working on my passion and my brand, you know what I mean? So that's what I've been up to like ever since that happened. But that was just like a little fast forward to let you know how everything happened to like what's going on right now. So
So I do have to ask, how did you get the ticket to get home after meeting Jamie Foxx and the lady? How did you get the ticket from the sales? You never
Oh,
told us.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. I ended up like, I wrote like 17 sales that day. After that lady recorded me, I had like 17 sales. So I made like probably a good like $300-400. So yeah, I was only supposed to make like 200 some bucks because they was paying the other half.
Okay,
So I
good,
had,
good.
yeah. So yeah, I ended up, that was a good question. You know, it's funny. A lot of people don't never ask that too. I'd be like, yeah, but yeah, that's what happened.
You did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you did say you have 4 or 5 kids. What are their ages?
No, I got 9 now. I had
You have
at the
9
time I had
now.
like 4. Yeah, yep. I got 9 kids. I got 8
Okay.
that's mine, and then me and my girlfriend. I have 2 kids by her. Her son, I'm helping raising her too, cause she was basically like helping raising my 9. You know what I mean? So if people see her, she
Yeah.
like I got 9, and she really got 3. You know what I mean? But with my 6, you know. But yeah, I got a
Oh,
whole
okay.
football. I got a whole football team, and
You
some can
do. You
play.
got the whole
Yeah,
lineup.
some can play basketball too. Yeah, so I got a whole starting lineup. But yeah, my oldest is she's 15. Then I got a 14-year-old. I got 2 13-year-olds. I got a 10-year-old. I got an 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 5 and 4.
Oh, so okay, so they're all close in age, so you're good.
Yeah,
There's
right,
no
right,
big gaps in between them, so you guys kind of knocked them right in there.
right, right. Yeah.
All right, so what would you say? Are they in any of your skits? Do you use them? I mean, I do know
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did see your
My
kids got some of them for the front door one using your kids. I did see that one.
yeah, yeah. Like my I didn't put all of my kids in skits basically because like they hilarious. I was like I just ran into this hip hop Harry. I just did something for the kids. He like real big and fun with kids, and I just took them to see him when I was just in LA because they really big on like the kid friendly content, and a lot of kids know about hip hop Harry. And I took them on the show and everything, and he was like, "Man, you should have like a reality show just with you and your kids because they it's funny." You know what I'm saying? Like they got
Hilarious.
their own like traits where they just like funny. You know what I'm saying? All the way from my son Kenny Jr. I had him knocking doors when he was like 4 years old. He had his own little sales truck. I knew like it was funny because like I remember one particular day he knocked on someone's door and I couldn't even make this up. I promise you. I had grown people that I was managing, like they would come in with excuses. Like they would basically like if someone get the police call, because sometimes we work areas where you need license, some areas we didn't need license. But if you didn't have license, the customers there call the police because they like in this day and age, a lot of people don't like people knocking on their door, especially due to
And I know
COVID. You know what I'm saying? I had
soliciting.
that conversation with someone earlier too. They were saying basically back in the day, you know, when you have full of rush or just curvy salespeople or different type of like fundraisers, people was happy to support. But this world is so crazy and the trust issue now is like you got to
Yeah.
be careful with who door you knock on. You know what I mean? So it was one day this lady just called this police on my son. He like 8 years old, knocking doors, selling a cleaning product. And the police
Aw.
came, and as the police come and he started putting his cleaning materials and his whole like stuff in his book bag, and he just zipped his book bag up and the police stopped him, and it was like, yeah, we just got a we just got a call on a suspicious kid out here going door to door selling cleaning products. He was like, oh no, you got the wrong person. He was like, I'm not selling anything, I stay here, this is my daycare. And they let him go. He went right and knocked on the lady door and sold her 2 bottles. I'm like, wow, like you just sold the police so said this was a daycare. So
Oh,
it's
that's
like just
so
like little
perfect.
funny stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't like install that in him. It's just in his blood. Like his dad, his mom was a
Is
salesman. So
there
it's like,
Oh,
so yeah, so now I got them like they like little helpers. They be helping me with my business. I got like a couple businesses I run, and like one of them we got like a merch. So I'll be having them with come up with ideas to help me with my merch line and stuff. So that's how we
that's so
came up with like the pickle
perfect.
Rick and everything. Yeah, so yeah, so they like little hustlers and everything. But yeah, I'll be trying to get all of them into like acting because like especially my little son Javon, he like a character. He got the little look and everything. We just did like a because I'm a brand ambassador for this cleaner. It's like a shoe cleaner, and it's called Pink Miracle. And we just flew out to LA last week to shoot like a commercial, like a Foot Locker commercial that we about to like try to pitch to Foot Locker because it's like it's booming right now. So the product is like going crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I had put them in, and they was hilarious. They was funny, like you know what I mean. So it was amazing.
That's beautiful. I love it. So that means we're gonna have to do a skit. That's all I'm hearing. That we have to do a skit soon.
Right,
Lady
right,
and Funny Salesman. We're gonna do a skit. I got you. Bring
right,
you out
right,
here. We're doing a funny little skit. Bring you.
right.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Heck yeah, yeah. So it's
And
been
then
amazing.
I do have to ask. Okay, the whole advice. What was the main advice that you took and ran with? Because you You did say he said a lot of things, but what was that? There's always that one thing that hits you the hardest that Jamie Foxx said to you that made you
Oh,
take off the way you took off. What was it?
he was basically saying that like you just got. He said that like when you going somewhere, he was telling me about this, and I promise you, like still to this day, that's what really helped me like fight. Like everybody got demons, you know what I mean, and people like everybody fighting their battles, you know what I mean, fighting their own battles. But he was basically letting me know like you just got to believe in yourself, like no matter what nobody tell you. He was like, and this is the best start. He was telling me like just going door to door. He was like, because just imagine you got so many people that's gonna tell you no. He was like, that's the start of like doing stand-up comedy. He was like, you know how many people that's gonna boo you, you're gonna be on stage, you're gonna have hecklers and everything. He was like, but if you react the wrong way, that decision can make you successful or failure. He was like, so just imagine someone slamming the door in your face or telling you no. He was like, if you believe that, that can either make you or break you. You know what I mean? If you don't believe it, if you should let that fuel fire to make you keep going. And that's what really like I've been holding on to those like words of encouragement for like so long, like 10 plus years, because he basically telling me about this sign he seen. He was like, I seen this one sign with like Patrick Ewing was getting dunked on by Michael Jordan. And he basically said that Patrick Ewing had his eyes over his hands over his eyes. And he was like, when you know where you're going, no one can stop you.
No, because yep.
And I was like, dang, that's a beautiful, like, just picture. You know what I mean? Because you can use that with just like life itself. You know what I mean? Because it just keep you going. Because endurance win races. So I just took that and ran with it. So that just helped me with everyday life. You know. So.
All right. So right now, 2021, what is your next step? Your goal right now? What are we reaching
Oh,
toward?
my biggest thing is that I want to be like. I want people to see what I've been cooking up for like the last like 7 years. I wanna
Yes.
get this. I got a whole reality show of like my whole life. Like I got like 15 episodes. I done wrote like 8 of them already. I still got like 7 more. So like basically like around the end of this year, I should be basically shooting a pilot for it, getting everything going. I got writer friends and like
Awesome.
good comedian friends. So yeah, I got like different episodes called Indie. Like the story I told you, I'm making it like a whole reality show. It's like basically my life of how I started with door to door to like like where I am right now. You know what
Where
I
you are
mean?
now.
Yeah, so I got one called the N word, one called suicide. It's like just different stories, and it's what I made. Like I made basically like out of different like negative situations, I made it positive, and I feel like what we dealing with in life today. You know what I mean? I feel like I can shed a light on a lot of stuff, and just by just having someone see this in reality, they can like, if you can see this and you can get a positive outlook from this, then the world will be a better place because everybody going through something, but it ain't what happened to you, is how you handle it. You know what I
How you
mean? So I
handle it.
feel like a lot of the like content that I put out is for positive, but at the same time, it's for people that's also going through something they can relate. And
You
just
relate to.
imagine if they had like someone that can look at their story and be like, you know what? Man, this is amazing. If he made it through this, if this happened, and look what he dealt with, and this, you know what I mean? Because I showed you somebody that's successful, they went through failure. You know what I mean? So,
Yep,
and I
that's
so
true.
I feel like if I just want to get this off the ground, where the world can see this, this gonna be a nice piece of work.
It is. So that's good that you have your friends, your family that makes you laugh because a lot of things that a lot of people say about comedians is who makes them laugh and they make a when they put all their efforts in making everyone else laugh.
Right,
They
that's
say some
true.
of the saddest people are comedians. Do you agree or
Yeah.
disagree to that?
Say that again.
They used to say, I don't know if that's still true, but I do know, like with a lot of comedians that went through years of being comedians, they say that some of the saddest people are the greatest comedians.
Of course, that's facts to me. Yeah.
So,
One of
so
my favorite
what do
sayings,
you?
and I love what Kevin. I got it basically from Kevin Hart. He said, "Laugh at my pain," because like he who suffer remembers. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they want to make something where it can bring happiness to their life. Because everybody's going through something, and I feel like, and that's what I said. Like I want to share basically the suicide story because it's a touching situation, but it's also, I feel like if people heard this, it's a story that USA Today will love. And basically, I was in I was in Spokane, Washington, because like I said, we traveled a lot, and it rained a lot in Washington. Like they call it like God's country because it's so green, but it's like a suicidal state. It's like number one for like if you do your research, it's like number one for suicide because it's like always raining like 80% of the year. So anyway, I got my team out there. We going door to door, and like my team was demotivated. They did not want to knock in the rain. You know what I mean? Just imagine you going to someone's door while it's raining, and all you hear
Yeah.
is you hear this all day, and you know you gotta be wet while you trying to like
Motivate
like you
somebody
trying to like motivate someone else to buy your product. You already getting doors slammed in your face. You holding a 20-minute conversation. People slamming the door. You got to get back
cold,
out
making
in the rain.
fun.
Exactly. So my team they wasn't feeling it this day. So I had to lead by example. I was the leader. So I was training this day also. So I went like a whole hour not picking up sales, just going through it. So I said like I got on the doors with like a couple of my new people. I said like a 5-minute prayer, like I just prayed like just give us peace of mind, let us be stress free, let nothing disturb our peace of mind, let us come together and just have fun and just be ourselves. I mean, even if the sales don't come right now, just touch us and let us know that we in the best place where, you know, no matter what happened, we gonna learn from our mistakes and just be better and touch the lives today that we knock on. You know what I mean? I was just praying for like peace of mind and just people that just the Lord just touches and just make sure we safe and just have a great day. You know what I mean? It wasn't even about sales that day. It was just about just having fun and just having energy and just touching people. Because one thing I learned going door to door is that we uninvited guests and we pop unexpected like a premature baby, but at the same time, a lot of these people didn't ask for us to come to their door. So when you come to their door, you gotta be prepared.
Bring
You
it.
know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like preparation prevent poor performance. You gotta learn that. So when I knocked on this lady door, this one particular lady, she came out just snapping on me, like, and I just felt like when I was 12 years old, when that guy came out snapping on me when I had the paper out. You know what I mean? So I when she after she got done snapping, she was like, whatever you said, I don't want it. Get off my property before I call it the police. She was just using a lot of profanity. I just ain't want to curse everything she was saying, but in those words,
Of course,
she
of
was
course.
really like she was having a bad day. So I was like, well, I apologize for knocking on your door. We gonna Jesus didn't sell everybody. We see around like a donut. I always try to like leave a great impression on someone's mind, even if they nasty to me or not. Because one thing, like I always try to like throw positive in the universe. Because like I just believe in law of average. Like whatever you're looking for, look at me. So I always try to like leave some positive, even if someone nasty with me. Because like I said, I learned that like you got to take your shoes off and put these people's shoes on before you knock on their door. They got a life, a normal life before you enter their world. You know what I mean? So I always push positive while I'm selling. So this one particular day, the lady came out nasty with me, and I told her, I just threw some Jesus. I said, Jesus didn't sell everybody. We're gonna see around like a donut. So she slammed the door. She opened back up the door. She was like, what did you say? I was like, well, I didn't come to make you mad. I just said Jesus didn't sell everybody. And then like she was crying. And she had like a smile on her face, and I could tell that I kind of touched her because she had a tear drop her eye, but she turned her frown into a smile. You know what I mean? So I knew that like I kind of like touched this lady. So anyway, come to find out, she was like, what did you say? I was like, so I jumped back in sales mode. I just forgot how she just was nasty with me and everything. I just jumped back in sales mode. I was like, I thought you never asked. I got the best things to clean. And I just started naming stuff that it cleans. I was like, it cleans carpet, grease, heel marks, everywhere. I just was like being funny. I was like, I can say it backwards. And she's like, you can. I turned around and I started saying it backwards. She started laughing. And then she was like, you know what? She was like, you know what? I like it. She was like, I am so sorry for being real nasty with you. She was like, today just wasn't my day. I just lost my son in a car accident. I just had some bad news, so I wasn't expecting for someone to knock on my door with this much personality while I'm having this bad day. So anyway, she was like, but I do have a spot on my property. If you come in and clean this spot, I'll buy your product. So as I walked in her door, she had a gun on the table. So I'm looking like, oh shoot, this is the setup. I was like, don't shoot just because I was working hard instead of hardly working to feed my kids. She's like, no, go ahead. She's like, you need some water. She's like, don't mind the gun. She was like, so she went and got me a glass of water. So when she came back, I proceeded to clean the spot. So when I cleaned the spot, she just started crying. She was like, look, let me tell you something. She was like, God worked in mysterious ways. She was like, before you knocked on my door, I was just about to kill myself. And she was like, and you just really touched my, like, she was like, you just really changed my whole mind. And she ended up buying like 2 bottles from me. like true story. So I felt like, you know, like you never know what someone going to, and you never know who you can be entertaining. You always can be entertaining an angel or you. That's why, like every time I see a homeless person, I never like look at them wrong or like say nothing out the way. I'll be like thinking like that can be anybody. You know what I mean? You never know. You know, that's why I always try to pray with them, give them food, or like, you know, I always try to like, you know, because I'll be like, dang, you never know what someone going through. But anyway, to make a long story short, that's a true story. And that like I wrote that that's one of my episodes that I got like in my like reality show. I got like that's called Suicide. I got another one, Indian Kidnapping, and N Word, How I Met Jamie Foxx. It's just a whole bunch of them. I got like 15 episodes. So by the end of this year, I should be finished writing them, and then we're gonna start shooting the pilot and stuff. So I'm gonna try to pitch it to like a big station.
Are they going to air on Netflix? Where are you going to air these on?
I don't know. Like I want to do it on Netflix. I got like a couple friends that work there, so they probably said they can help me out with like pitching it to them. But that's my goal, Netflix. But I also got some people that work with Amazon Prime too. I had did I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I got like three movies that's dropping this year. Like I just did some with my friend Jahan. Shout out to Jahan Jones. He like a influencer. I'm in his new movie coming up called You Married That. So like I was just telling him about the same thing. So like I got a lot of stuff that like I'm working on. So hopefully it's gonna be big. Like when it do drop. So but my whole goal, I hope it get picked up by Netflix though. So. But if it's Netflix or Amazon Prime or Roku or you know Hulu, either one, that's still good for me. Like you know,
So, how many celebrities has helped you?
well,
Like,
a
throughout
lot
your
of
journey, has
celebrities
any
reached out, but like far as help, like what do you mean like by help? Like you talking about like far as advice or like just like
has any of them put you on a platform, assisted you on your platform as your journey has produced and prospered, or was it only you and your team that helped you get to where you are?
yeah, well, a lot. I consider like myself and my team. They got a lot to do with where I'm at today, but like a lot of good like celebrity friends that I got, they've been like giving me advice and trying to help me out. Like one of them is a good friend, Brandon T. Jackson from Lottery Ticket. Shout out to Brandon T. Jackson. He like that's like my brother. We always talk, and we from Detroit. Like we from the same place, so he always giving me advice on how Hollywood is and how to just be patient. And that he basically like just telling me, man, you got talent. I'm telling you, like you gonna automatically the world gonna see it. Just be patient. Just keep working hard. And I'm telling you, like it's gonna happen for you. He was like, because I feel like the world need to hear, like the world need to see King Brooks because you've been entertaining a lot of people for the longest, so it's gonna pay off. Then I just like met John Sally. He a Detroit Pistons, a bad boys, old retired Pistons, and like soon as he seen me, he just like basically we just chopped it up. He took my number down and he was like contact me. He was like before you do anything else, he was like I know a lot of people in the industry and I'm gonna make sure that you like whatever you need. So he been a good like person. I just met him like a couple weeks ago, and he was like just a good person. But it's like a lot of them been there, like all the way from like Chin Capone to like
Yeah.
Carlos, them my guys, Nate Dogg Jr. They reached out, wanted to shoot a skit. Like it went super viral. It hit like 30, 40 million views all the way from like World Star to like
Wow.
funny videos to like it went crazy. And I just that was like it just like when I was in LA one day. Carlos, the guy with the tattoos, I talked to I think Kenny earlier. He said y'all real good friends with him. He the homie though, but he had reached out to me. He's like, bro, and I was like at like 600K on TikTok, and I shot the video with him. He just invited me. He was blowing me up that whole day. Like, look, I got some people I want you to meet. I got my boy Chink and Nate Dogg. We want to do a video with you, and then we just off the head just did that one video. I told about it was like it wasn't premeditated. We didn't even think like we didn't even know the idea, nothing. I just was like, look, y'all just come out, act real,
And
like
we'll do
y'all
it.
about to scare me. I'm about to knock on the wrong door. Y'all just be like, and we just made a hit. You know what I mean? And it went like I'm talking about super viral. Like it's crazy. Like I gained like 600,000 followers on TikTok within 2 weeks just off that video. I went
Off of
from
that video. That's amazing.
600,000. Yeah, I went from like 600,000 on TikTok in January, like 12th when I filmed it, and I released it like January 15th. No exaggeration. By like January 20th, like right after Martin Luther King birthday, I hit like a million views. I mean, a million followers. So I hit like
Oh, wow.
600,000 followers like in a week and a half off that video. So yeah, it's been like trending and going crazy. So yeah,
That's amazing. So, like I said, welcome and thank you again for coming on Vibe95. Your IG, everyone is looking, and I know you guys heard he is hilarious. Look him up on IG as Funny Salesman on
Yeah,
IG. He is
yeah.
cracking up. He posts his videos literally every moment. So he literally reposts his posts and people post and repost all day. So
Right,
watch his
right.
videos. Guys, share. I am gonna follow you. So get
Okay.
back and follow Lady Liddy back. Make sure you
I
follow
got
Lady
I got
Liddy.
you. I'm a
All
definitely
right.
will. I got you. Yeah, and I appreciate
And
y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
no, we appreciate you. And when you get down here, please make sure you look up Vibe95 and look up Lady Liddy so we can get this video started. Because I'm gonna
Let's
have a
do
video
it.
with Carlos as well and Cheat Capone. We got all that going on and popping. So you might
Okay,
as
yeah,
well be
let's
all
definitely do
involved.
it. Oh yeah,
So we'll
no
get that
doubt, no
set.
doubt. I'm
Thank
definitely
you
gonna
again,
tap in with y'all as soon as I
595.
get there. Hey,
You
appreciate y'all
better.
for having me. Most
Don't
definitely.
even say nothing other than that. Kenny, thank you
Right.
so much. Keep
Thank you.
building and keep moving and keep going up the
Of
way you're
course.
going because you're doing it right. You are
Got
clearly
to.
doing it correctly.
Hey, I appreciate
So,
that. I
guys,
got to.
thank you. Don't See Productions, Viber 95, and it's your girl, Lady Liddy. Thank you, Vibing. We'll talk to you guys later.
All
Good
right. Peace.
night.
Good night.